Today we'll be taking a tour around my Animal Crossing New Leaf Island, which I have had now for 11 years, basically since the game launched. This is my original Animal Crossing town, and it is a complete mess thanks to the beautiful town ordinance riddling it with flowers, but I thought you would enjoy it anyway. So I actually want to save my house for last on this tour because I have the perfect place I want to end. What I do want to show you is my actual town map, because you'll notice that my house is basically on the southernmost tip. And this was because I thought, hey, oceanfront property, that would be kind of cool. There's only one problem with that, though. This is my view. I don't know why I thought it'd be any different, but no, I don't get to look at the ocean. Maybe through the character's eyes, the ocean is present, but not for me. I'm going to show you just from my house kind of what an average day looks like. We go on to the path here, which is a path Nintendo actually made themselves. I downloaded it from one of their dream islands, or maybe their only dream island, and I've lined it with fruit trees, specifically orange trees and orange tulips. And I think that was because oranges were the town fruit, or maybe, no, it's pears. Maybe I just like oranges. But yeah, basically every day I would jump on the game, I would come up here, and I would go over to retail and, immediately start browsing to see, what was in store. I thought this was kind of a cool way to do the paths around the town. You'll notice one of the things we passed was a park, and you can kind of enter from different areas. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, you can only plant so many shrubs in a row before one of them dies. It's a weird rule. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but that's why I have these gaps in the shrubs. So now they're just kind of an excuse to enter the park from all angles, essentially. It's a pretty boring park. I have a bench and I have a fountain. And anytime I tried to add a lamp, I thought this would be a good spot for one, it would destroy something. It would knock out a shrub. Like, you can't really add stuff too close together in this game. So that is one of my persistent complaints here. I wonder what's in this present. It is a simple love seat. Great. Cool. Got some junk. One of the other things I really loved about New Leaf were the different customizations you could do for bridges and buildings. So I have these really nice futuristic looking bridges, and then I got buildings that complement them very well. So every building in town kind of matches that aesthetic. That includes my house, but you know me, I kind of added some gold to my house, as you probably noticed a little while ago. Passing by retail again, we kind of come over here where I did put a street light, and we have a pond, and futuristic building-wise, the town hall also has that design. Anyway, the entire section around the town hall is supposed to be kind of like that government area that on the map here. So we have the police station and we have the town hall, and you know what? It kind of made me wish there was a little fire department, but instead of that, I also put this manhole cover right here. This is actually Resetti. So on certain days, I think it has to be raining. There's a couple other rules. Resetti will actually be here, and this will open up and you can go in. So basically anything official lives in this corner of town. Heading back over though, you start to see, you got retail, so you got some shopping. This is a little topiary that I put down through a Public Works project. There's always been a villager house here. It's been many, many villagers. I don't know who it is right now. Let's see. It is Lucky. Okay, that's a good get. So Lucky lives here right now. But yeah, I've always had somebody living right in this spot, blocking my view of retail. And then over here, once you get past the park, was what I thought was an excellent place for the coffee shop. This is the Roost, where Brewster works. And I just love the way the town kind of flows, because you have a coffee shop next to the park. And then in the background, of course, is the train station. So everything in the northern half of my town really flows and kind of makes a lot of sense, which I've always kind of loved that about it. Moving on, right next to the Roost is this thing. Yeah, I like to think that Brewster comes out here to get water for coffee, I suppose. There's certainly that lore kind of works here. Is the water pumped out of this nasty pond? I don't know. There's always fish swimming around in it. I certainly wouldn't want to drink any of it, which is why I'm not going into the Roost, because I am kind of worried about the quality of the beverages. Maybe that's my fault, though. I am the one who put this here. One of the common themes with this island seems to be me lining paths with various fruit trees, and this was partially because we didn't have any fences in Animal Crossing New Leaf. I would have loved to put fences all around the paths, but instead I just had to improvise. So I used shrubs, I used flowers, I used trees, and then along the whole back of the island were my town fruit. This was pears, and I've arrange them just in a row with tulips between them. I thought that looked kind of nice. Thanks to my beautiful town ordinance, instead of coming back years later with weeds everywhere, it's flowers. Flowers have completely destroyed my poor town. They're running rampant. Not the gold ones, obviously. These were me, and I'll get to why these are here in a little bit. But I was collecting them. It's not really a big mystery. And this is Freckles' house. Now, Freckles has been on the island, I think, since day one, and was someone who I actually wanted to have move away. I was kind of hoping to get, at the time, I think I had a few different ducks. I was hoping to get Freckles to leave, and Freckles, no matter what I did, would never ever go, and is still here to this day. As we head back down, though, one of the other points of interest here would be the lighthouse. Obviously, you have to put this by a cliff edge facing out to the water. I think this was a really nice spot for it, and this kind of gets into the wilderness in my town, because if you just come down a little bit further and the path kind of winds around, you'll notice that my campsite is right here. Yes, there was a campsite newly, for those who didn't know, and I would say I'm the most proud of the way I've done the public works projects in the campsite area, because not only do I have the campsite, but I also have a well, and it just complements the campsite really nicely. I really like the way it looks. And then just to give visitors a little bit of something to be, excited about as a tourist destination, there's a foreign fruit forest here. This is all the fruits you get on the Tortimer Islands. So the stuff that you don't normally see around the island, and the stuff that they didn't include in New Horizons for some reason. This kind of loops all the way back around to my house, which we're not done yet. There's other parts of the island I want to show you, but this is my house over here. So all the paths do kind of connect, and it does go in one big kind of circle. With that, though, let's leave the paths. Let's come over here. A ton of my villagers moved their houses down here. I never made paths to them. I just kind of let them live out here in the wilderness. I'm hoping they kind of get lost, because I want them to stop living over here. If there's no streetlights, if there's no paths, if there's no civilization, why would you build your house here? I don't quite understand. But I digress. One of the things that this jerk did was crush my black roses with their stupid house. And because they did that, it kind of demotivated me from getting any more gold roses. But this is how you would get gold roses. You'd let these wilt. You'd water them with a gold can. Who is this, by the way? Pashmina. Okay, cool. Pashmina's actually caused a lot of problems for me in New Horizons on my Gold Core Island. So, you know what? This actually tracks. I can see why Pashmina is the villager of all people to crush my black rose production. We'll go a little bit north here where Isabelle is hanging out, because it is actually the summer solstice today when I'm recording this. And so, they have these little standees out here. Isabelle already gave me some ladder shades, and they match my jacket, which is pretty cool. So I'll just continue wearing these, I suppose. You may have also noticed around the event area that I have a bunch of dead trees. Well, that's because these were my perfect pear trees, and they wouldn't last forever, the perfect fruit trees. And because I had a few more left, that's why I haven't chopped those down yet. If I shake this though, I was hoping the leaves would fall off. And just next to this town square is one of my fruit orchards, or maybe my only fruit orchard remaining. I'm not sure why I have it, because I've planted a ton of fruit trees everywhere, all over the paths. But yeah, I have a thing about collecting every type of fruit in Animal Crossing, so I had to put them somewhere, and this was kind of the section they ended up in. But another area I worked a lot on in terms of public works projects was this one. I wanted to create kind of a Zen garden area. So we have this bench, we have a lamp, this lantern looks really nice. We have bamboo growing here, and then we also have the garden in the middle. So all this stuff looks really cool, and then for whatever reason, I put down a wind turbine just to, in case you were trying to enjoy the nice, peaceful tranquility of the Zen garden, you then had to contend with the loud buzzing of a nearby wind turbine. I will say one of my least favorite things about this game was the fact that when you planted bamboo, just how much of it would try and grow and populate the area. This stuff grows in every day. If I don't unbury it, it just keeps growing bamboo. So as you can see, there's a random bamboo stalk that's kind of outside of all the other ones. Yeah, this one grew all by itself. I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to leave it for now, but yeah, that is one of my complaints about this game. So now we're back at the bridge I showed you guys originally, and there's a couple other spots I hadn't gotten to yet. This is just an area that I've never known what to do with. Usually there's a villager's house, probably right where this dirt plot is, or maybe back here, but they've moved away. And so now it's just a big empty area. And then, of course, my house is just to the south of it. And then from this bridge, if you run along this way, again, it's just another demonstration of all these different paths and areas kind of connecting, because it comes up and there's yet another bridge. And then we get to that more official government kind of section of the island I was talking about earlier. So I'd say those are all the key areas of my town, but I want to show you a couple other things that I spent quite a bit of time on. Follow me. One of the coolest things about Animal Crossing New Leaf was the museum. And that's because you have your normal museum rooms, okay? But then you have the second floor. And not only did the second floor double as a place to buy tools, silver tools to be specific, but it also was a place where you can set up your own museum exhibits. Celeste's up here too, selling some pretty interesting, unique items. I'm not sure you can get these at Nooks, so they're pretty cool, but let me show you how I use these rooms. This first one became storage for all of the Mario items that I managed to collect. I should probably say all of the Nintendo items I managed to collect, I think through fortune cookies. I think every single one of them is in here. We have the Metroid thing, we got the Wii Fit board, like, yeah, just about all of them. There might be one or two things missing. Next to that, we have, I think, items I must have gotten from Gulliver. Essentially, I was creating a pirate ship. In here is a room with fish furniture in it. I think this is the furniture you get maybe around the fishing tournament. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure how you get this stuff. I'm sure someone in the comments knows. I love the pufferfish television. And then this is probably the most fitting example of what you could use the museum exhibits for, because it's literally a space exhibit. You are on the surface of the moon. So I think this is probably my favorite one, maybe next to the Mario one. Both of those are pretty solid examples of what you should probably do with these rooms. But ultimately what these rooms did was point out the very desperate need for more places to decorate on your Animal Crossing town. But okay, let's finally show you my house, because in these older Animal Crossing games, this was really where you could be creative. And my house has a very particular theme. The entire thing is themed like a spaceship, sort of. There's a couple rooms that don't follow this too well, but essentially, this is supposed to be a ship disguising itself as a house. And I guess that makes me an alien from another planet. But I really loved the Astro furniture, and I actually used Cyrus's help to color it blue and black. To do that, it took a really long time. I had to collect a lot of blue crystals that you can get, and then each piece of furniture takes a certain amount of time for him to customize. So it took a while to get this. I'm actually kind of disappointed in the amount of available space. I feel like at the time I was playing this, I wasn't big on clutter, but now that I've played a lot of New Horizons, I've come to appreciate having that extra clutter. The back room is my lab, and this thing is really cool. I did think it fit the sci-fi theme pretty well, and I got a couple extra machines here too, because there's not a ton of this stuff, but these all kind of like do something when you interact with them. There's this horrifying chair we have, which didn't turn. Oh, it doesn't turn on because you got to sit in it. That's right. Yeah. Then it kind of turns on. Little sparks back there. We got the sink. We have this thing you might recognize. It does look very similar to one we have in New Horizons. This bed, which again, pretty terrifying. The west room of my house is where the spaceship theme kind of falls apart, because this is actually like a cafe. And in terms of decorating, this is probably one of my favorite rooms. It's a little more cluttered. I think the space is used very, very well. And it's just overall, I think, really, really nice. I like to imagine if the ship had a crew, this is kind of where they come to feel like they're back on Earth. Also, another really cool feature of New Leaf were these fossil models. These are actually made by taking, I think, all of one type of fossil. So like all of a T-Rex, for example, and bringing it to somebody to turn into a little model that fits on a 1x1 tile. So those being in here is really cool. Of course, the cat tree. I guess I was kind of creating a cat cafe with this room. I really like the way it turned out. Getting back to the sci-fi theme, though, you got to see the upstairs, because this is the bridge. This is where you actually pilot the ship, and I love this furniture. I wish more furniture like this came back to New Horizons, but we got some stuff. But yeah, you can turn all of this on, and the screens light up. These things, I think they don't do much, actually. There's a screen here. This is actually a TV. And then you also have this big digital planet, super cool. This like communicator where you can talk to a hologram. So yeah, just amazing furniture in here, and really let me kind of create a full-blown like spaceship feeling house, which I really appreciated. And then this is my basement. Now this is supposed to be the engine room. This is where the entire kind of like vision comes together for a spaceship house, because you have the big computer terminal in the middle and then just some cool gadgets, stuff that, you know, just looked kind of sci-fi-esque but didn't really fit the theme otherwise. I put some custom designs on these screens, so it just kind of zeros and ones, and some bar graphs kind of scrolling to the sides, a bunch of servers, a robot, you know, just some neat items. There's some, actually, this is storage, so more access to storage. And I bet you could figure out the one thing about this room that drove me crazy. And that was this, not being something that you could center. Look at this. How frustrating is that? Why? Why is it like that? Why can't we put it in the middle of the room? It's not fair. Anyway, you probably noticed that we missed the East room, and there was a good reason for that. Check this place out. This room is my trophy room. Now, the reason this room is so important to me, and the reason I saved it for last, is because this room kind of chronicles my adventures in Animal Crossing New Leaf. You get these trophies by doing various things. I think this one is from, you know, maybe like being mayor for a certain amount of time. We have the money briefcase because I think I just needed something for this particular pedestal. But we got the golden house, probably from paying off all the loans. The HHA trophies. And we have all these different trophies as well for the fishing and bug tourneys. And I think maybe the final HHA trophy was this one, but it's a trophy with a house on it. I just love that we got 3 gold trophies. So this trophy wall is kind of perfect, and I really, really love this room for that reason. And then the other thing I like about it are these mannequins. You could only get 4 of these things. I wish we could get more, and I wish they were in the current game as well. They're great. Like, you can change outfits just by interacting with them. All you gotta do is click change into this, and then suddenly you're in this completely different outfit. And the reason I kept these in my trophy room was because these were kind of the outfits that I found myself wearing the most throughout my time playing this game. And then in the corner here, you might have noticed I have the game consoles. And this is, again, another reason I love New Leaf, because these are playable. There are actually playable games built into Animal Crossing New Leaf, which is completely mind-blowing. I've always wanted to experience what it would be like to sell your Animal Crossing New Leaf town, because that is something you can do. You can basically start over, but with like a ton of money. And I've always thought that'd be kind of an interesting way to play the game. But it's really, really hard for me to let go of my town. And it's because of this room right here. I know that doesn't look like much, but it just chronicles like what amounts to like a decade almost of playing this game. I played this game on and off for years until we got New Horizons, and I was always able to come back here and kind of see everything that I managed to achieve. It doesn't take super long to make these achievements happen for yourself, so I bet I could part with it, but that's partially why I made this video. But just in case I do end up selling my town, I wanted to have a video that I could come back to and kind of see what I left behind. So that's what this was, and if you enjoyed it, I hope you hit the like button, I hope you subscribe, and who knows, maybe you'll be seeing this game pop up on the channel a little bit more.